I'm going to create a new directory here. So I'm going to say Telegram payment bot. I'm going to open that in Visual Studio Code. Telegram, whoa, too many Telegram bots. Code. Alright, and bring up the terminal and say, first we're going to say npm init, because as I said, we're going to use NodeJS, and you start a new project, a new Node.js project by typing npm init. Then you need to enter some project information, if it hopefully works. Well, oh yeah, there you go. So the name will be Telegram payment bot, version 1.0, description, a basic demo bot to do Telegram payments. Entry point will be index.js. We're not going to write tests for this. Git repository will be empty for now. Keywords also. Author is me. Gradient merge. Email address. You can also leave this information blank. It doesn't matter that much for this. For the example. License will be MIT because it will be completely open source. And yes, so as you can see, we've now created a package.json file which contains all these information we've just put in there. Next we need to create a index.js file, which will be our main, basically our main application file, which will be executed when we start the bot. And then we're going to do npm install -- save telegraph, right? To install the telegraph library, which I showed you before, which was, let me see, which was this one. You can also go to the developer docs. Actually, they're not too good, so the documentation of this library doesn't describe everything the library can do. You need more things you will need to figure out yourself, but it provides some basic examples. It also has the example folder where you can, for instance, here's also a payment bot, I think, shop bot, yeah. So this is a basic example of a payment or a bot that supports payments, and you can go through these examples and see how the library works. And if you're interested in how, so we're using a library now which abstracts the actual API communication with Telegram servers. But if you're interested in what happens on a lower level, so what happens, or what happens according to the actual communication, you can watch my last tutorial where I explained how the actual HTTP request to Telegram works and how getting updates and sending messages and so on. But for simplicity reasons, we're going to use library and not handle the communication ourselves. So let's go on. We've created a new project. We've created the index.js file, and we've also installed the Telegraph library. So now we have this node modules folder, which includes all dependencies, Telegraph, and all dependencies that Telegraph needs. And now we can get started. So the first thing we're going to do is say Telegraph equals require Telegraph. We're going to import the Telegraph. We're going to import the library, and then we also need to import, well, do we actually need this? Let me see. Yeah, we're going to import markup. We're going to need that later. Markup equals simply Telegraph. And this is JavaScript ES6 syntax, so if you're not familiar with ES6, make sure you, or basically make sure you get a basic understanding, or you get some basic skills with Node.js and also with JavaScript ES6. This will be required for this tutorial, I guess. And we're going to use strict mode. Yeah. So and now we need to declare some further constants. So first we're going to say our bot will be, or let's call it app, but this will eventually be our actual bot instance. So we're going to say constant app equals new telegraph. We're going to instantiate a new telegraph instance, and here you need to put your token which you got from botfather initially. So you go to paste your token here, and we're also going to create another constant which is payment token, and here you're going to paste your second token, which is used to authorize against Stripe. So, alright, and first we're going to set up some basic scaffolding of our bot. So we're not going to directly care about the payments, but we first need to get a some basic frame with products that can be displayed in the user's app before we actually do the payment or the purchasement stuff. So we're going to have I'm just going to paste it here. We have two products in this case that we offer to the user. So in a real world application, these products will most likely come from a database or something like that. But in this case, we're just going to use an array, a hard-coded array. So we offer two products, as you can see. And if you're a player of Fallout, you will probably be familiar with them. Alright, so these are the products our user will be able to purchase in the end. And now let's define a command. So if you contact the bot for the first time, there will be the start button, and if you click it, it will send a /start command to your bot. And most likely your bot will want to respond to this command and say something like, "Hello user, I'm the bot and I can do this and that." Alright, so we want to implement that now. And to do so, we say app.command. Remember, app is our Telegraph instance we defined up here. We say app.command, then we pass a string, which is the command, start in this case, and then we're going to pass a function that should be executed when this command is received. And in that function we need the reply function, which is part of Telegraph, and we're going to say reply and then some string. Let me just paste that here. We're going to say, "Welcome, nice to meet you. I can say you have various products, just ask." Alright, and actually, if we do one more thing, which is app.start polling, we can actually get the bot running now. And we're going to use polling mode here. There's also another mode, which is webhook mode. Webhook mode should be used for production, but for development purposes, the polling mode is fine. And if you want to know more about these two modes, please just watch my last Telegram tutorial. So we should be able to execute that now. We should be able to say node index.js. And nothing happens here, but as you can see, we received a Telegram message. So the bot has now received our start command we sent earlier, and it says, "Welcome, nice to meet you," and so on. So our bot is basically working now. It's very basic, but it's working. And second, we want to add something like another command. So if you're a user and you receive this message, you probably want to know what products the bot has to sell. So you're most likely going to say something like, "What do you have?" or so. Alright, and in order to handle messages like these, we're not going to use command. A command would be a hard-coded thing, like the user would say /products, but we want to do it in a little more natural way. So we want to respond to actual questions, and most likely the next thing the user asks here will contain something like "what do you have" or "what other products." So we're going to say app.heres, and then we're going to pass a regular expression, and we say we're going to say what and something else, and we're going to make it case insensitive. And what this does is, as soon as the bot receives a message that includes or that matches this regular expression, so please make sure you're a little familiar with regular expression, or regexes in short. What they basically do is they basically do pattern matching against strings, and what this does is, as soon as the bot receives a message that includes the word what at the beginning of the string, and some or any characters after that, it will match this function, or it will match this pattern, and then execute this function here, which will be similar to this one, but it won't be reply. But this time we're going to use reply with markdown, so we can use markdown syntax in our message to do some basic text formatting. So we're going to say reply with markdown, and we're going to execute that, and then we're going to say, let me see, let's just say foo for now, and let's restart the bot, and let's say what is going on here. And yeah, so we get foo because the bot received our message and it matches this regex because it starts with the word what and has any characters after, or actually any or no characters after that word. So this pattern will match, and this function will be executed here, or actually this function. Yeah. Let me see. What do we want to do next? We don't want to say foo, but we want to actually send the product list. And in order to do so, we're first going to define a multi-line string here, like this, and then we're going to say, what are we saying? We say, you want to know what I have to offer? Sure. And then let me just paste the little code fragment here. So let me see. Yes, like this. And I'm going to explain that now. So what this does is it uses the array's reducer function to serialize our products array. So it will basically generate a string which contains one line per product, and it says the product's name. In here this is markdown, so it says the product's name printed in bold letters, dash the product's price, and then euro. So for simplicity reasons, we're not going to support multiple currencies here, but we're only going to support euro. And yes, so for every product, there will be a line or a string like I don't know, like product, and the price 1.99 euro, and for the next product it will, yeah, and so on. You get it. Sorry. And if you're not familiar with the reduce, just go to, I don't know, Mozilla Developers Network and make sure you're familiar with the reduce function. It's not too complicated, but it's very handy to serialize the whole array to a string in a very simple way. So that is basically the first parameter to our reply with markdown function. It will be a string like this. And we also want to pass a second parameter. Let me see, like this, a second parameter, because what we want to do additionally is we want to print a keyboard. So we want to offer the user some buttons which he can click, so he doesn't need to type the name of the product he wants to purchase, but he can simply click a button to purchase that product. And in order to do so, we're going to say markup, which we imported up here. We're going to say markup.keyboard, and then we're going to say products.map, and we're going to map each product simply to its name. So this will be the text of the buttons, and we want to have a one-time keyboard, which is a one-time keyboard is a keyboard where the buttons which are displayed in the app disappear after they have been clicked, basically. And we also want to have extra. I don't know what this means, but all the examples included this, so we're going to use that too. So and we're going to use resize. So the keyboard fits to the width of the app, so the buttons are aligned in a nice way, basically. Yeah, let's just execute that and see what the result of this is. And it looks like we're missing a what is it called? A bracket? I don't know. Yes, so let's just try execute that, and it seems to work. And now let's say, what do you have? And it crashes. One time is not a function. I think, yeah, we need to insert that here and remove that here and execute it again. And there you go. So, very nice. As you can see, we got a message which was generated here, where it says you want to know what I have to offer, and then it prints our products with the prices, and it says what do you want. This is the message here, and then it renders the keyboard which we defined here. And here again, to the keyboard, the first parameter you pass to the keyboard is an array of strings that will be the text for the buttons. So if you pass an array, in this case we're passing an array of length 2 because we have two products and we're just mapping the product objects to their names. So we're passing an array of the size 2 as the first parameter, and there will be as many keyboard buttons as the array has entries. and yeah, we're going to say, or we're saying one time resize extra, whatever. So, and if the user clicks this button, a message will be sent which is exactly the text of this button, and which is Nuka-Cola Quantum in this case. And as you can see, the keyword has just disappeared, and this is due to the one-time flag. All right, so far so good. So actually, we're done with the basic scaffolding, because we now have a bot that prints a product list to the user, and the user can click the button to order a product, and what we need to do next is to actually handle that order request. All right.